Hello and welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News today, 28 April 2026. Equivalent Islamic calendar, 11th day of Zulqa'dah 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. In headlines. The government urges new ambassadors to rebrand Nigeria and attract investments. Independent National Electoral Commission attributes voter education to credible electoral processes. Defense headquarters confirms court-martial of alleged coup plotters to resume May 8. On the international scene, Ghana Armed Forces confirm 3 civilians killed in military convoy attack. And on sports updates, CAF awards Ghana 2027 Under 20 Africa Cup of Nations hosting rights. These and more news will be coming to you in the bulletin. Thank you for joining, and now the news in details. Presidency has tasked the newly appointed ambassadors and high commissioners to work toward improving Nigeria's global image. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave the charge at the opening of the induction course for the envoys held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja, and also urged them to pursue foreign investment and strengthen strategic partnerships. Tinubu, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, noted that the appointment reflected the administration's confidence in their ability to advance Nigeria's interests on the international stage. He also emphasized that the global system is undergoing swift transformation driven by shifting geopolitical dynamics, economic uncertainties, technological disruptions, climate changes, and emerging security threats. On her part, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, stressed the critical role of diplomats in shaping Nigeria's international perception and advancing national interests. Nigerian consulate in Johannesburg has condemned the killing of 2 Nigerians, Amamero Emmanuel and Ekpenyong Andrew, by personnel of the South African National Defense Force. The Consul General Ninkamwa Oke Uche, who made this non-statement, said the incident had raised fresh concerns over the safety of Nigerians and other foreign nationals in South Africa. She noted that the development had left victims' families, the Nigerian community, and diplomatic missions in shock. The Consul General also warned against the growing trend of generalizing Nigerians as criminals, stressing that such narratives pose serious risks to innocent citizens living in the country. She also advised Nigerians in South Africa to remain calm, law-abiding, and continue their daily activities within the bounds of the law. According to her, the consulate had received a preliminary investigation report on the circumstances surrounding the dates, adding that the consulate is engaging with relevant South African authorities and closely monitoring the situation. The government has summoned the leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and Allied Institutions, NASU, to a meeting on Wednesday, April 29, 2026, in a bid to forestall the looming strike by the 2 university-based unions. The strike threat followed the ongoing disagreement on the proposed 30% pay rise for the unions announced by the Minister of Education, Tunde Alausa. It will be recalled that the Education Minister in a letter addressed to the National Universities Commission, NUC, National Commission for Colleges of Education, NCCE, and National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, announced a 30% pay rise in salaries of non-academics in government-owned universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. The President's Joint Action Committee of SANU and the NASU, Muhammad Ibrahim, and Secretary General Peters A. Adeyemi in the letter demanded the government withdraw the controversial letter alleged approving the 30% salary hike or risks a nationwide shutdown of public universities. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has emphasized that voter education remains the backbone of any credible electoral process. ATT State Resident Electoral Commissioner Rek Bumi made the assertion when INEC convened a high-level implementation meeting aimed at strengthening voter education, publicity, and inclusivity across the state. Omoshe Indembi, while delivering her welcome address, described the meeting as timely and strategic and outlined key priorities, including ensuring voters are well-informed, combating misinformation and fake news, promoting peaceful participation, and building public trust. She also stressed the need to expand outreach efforts to rural communities, first-time voters, and hard-to-reach areas across all local government areas, while also tackling vote-buying tendencies and voter apathy. In her goodwill message, the director of the National Orientation Agency, Noah Oluwakemi, Akomolede created the agency's commitment to working closely with the electoral umpire to ensure peace before, during, and after the election. Ogun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress (APC) has warned party officials against diversion of funds for grassroots activities and also please ban on unauthorized screening of aspirants ahead of the forthcoming party processes. This formed part of the resolution reached at a stakeholders meeting of the party held in Ogun State, where leaders party across the state converged to review operations and strengthen internal cohesion. The meeting presided over by the state chairman Yemi Sandusi and attended by members of the state executive committee, representatives from all 20 local government areas in the state, council chairman, party chairman, and 236 ward chairman. In his remarks, Sanusi emphasized that funds recently disbursed toward a local government chairman were strictly meant for party administration, particularly the conduct of the meetings. He also disclosed that modalities for the collection of nomination forms would soon be announced in line with a revised timetable from the party's national leadership. In another development, a chieftain of the Action Democratic Party's ADC, Peter Obi, has described his recent meeting with former President Goodluck Jonathan as part of broader consultations focused on Nigeria's future and the 2027 general elections. He added that the visit, which included notable Southeast leaders, was centered on finding lasting solutions to the country's present challenges and charting a new course for national development. According to him, deliberations with Jonathan were frank and thoughtful, with emphasis on the urgent need to reposition Nigeria towards unity, security, stability, productivity, and inclusive governance. The ADC's frontline presidential aspirant stressed that Nigeria requires leadership built on competence, character, capacity, and compassion rather than personal ambition. The former presidential candidate also described the 2027 elections as a crucial moment for national rebirth, saying it should go beyond politics to address the needs of ordinary Nigerians, including access to quality education, economic opportunities, and security. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. So to come in the news. Defense headquarters confirms court-martial of alleged coup plotters to resume on 8 May. On the international scene, Ghana Armed Forces confirmed 3 civilians killed in military convoy attack. On sport updates, Qatar awards Ghana 2027 on the 20 Africa Cup of Nations hosting rights. These are more news will be coming to you after this short break. To stand by. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continues. Defense headquarters says the court-martial over last year's fall coup plots will resume on May 8, 2026. The military spokesperson Major General Sama'ila Obahu disclosed this, explained that 36 officers are on trial for allegedly planning to overthrow the government. The court-martial was inaugurated on Friday with 36 officers brought before the newly sworn-in justices for the opening of the proceedings in Abuja. Uba explained that the next sitting will also be behind closed doors with no media access, adding that 6 civilians are also on trial this week at Abuja's Federal High Court for their alleged role in the plot. Meanwhile, all the accused have pleaded not guilty. So in the news, fresh concerns have been raised over Nigeria's growing number of unimmunized children, calling for urgent action to close the gap. This is as the world marks World Immunization Week 2026. The Save the Children Nigeria has advocated for renewed commitments and coordinated action to reach 0 dose and under-immunized children across Nigeria, particularly in urban communities, mostly in Lagos and Kano states. Save the Children, in a statement, urged the government partners, communities, and stakeholders to strengthen routing immunization systems to reach 0 dose and under-immunized children, especially in underserved settlements, to strengthen routing immunization services, improve outreach in hard-to-reach communities, and ensure that no child is left behind. It also charged the government to invest in quality data use, default tracking, and multiple contact points for vaccination within the health system. An estimated 2.1 million children have never received a single vaccine, while another 2.3 million are only partially immunized, reflecting both systemic gaps and persistent barriers to access. The government has been urged to reduce taxes on workers and manufacturing companies by 50% as part of urgent measures to cushion the impact of rising prices and deepening economic hardship across Nigeria. The call was contained in the resolutions reached at the National Executive Council NEC meeting of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) held in Abuja, where labor leaders undertook a review of national development affecting workers and the broader economy. The TUC President General Festus Osifo and Secretary General Nuhutoro, in his communique, they jointly signed, cautioned that persistent increases in the pump price of petroleum product driven by global crude volatility, exchange rates pressures, and domestic supply changes challenges were compounding inflationary pressures and worsening the cost of living. The communique also emphasized that without deliberate intervention, the situation will further erode workers' purchasing power and undermine productivity. The Congress urged the government to channel excess crude revenue into subsidizing crude oil supply to domestic refineries. Moving to the foreign scene, Ghana Armed Forces has confirmed that a military escorted civilian envoy in northern Ghana was attacked on Monday, leaving 3 civilians dead and 1 injured. According to a statement, the convoy transporting about 240 civilians from Baku to Bolgatanga came under gunfire at Bunduri from unidentified assailants. The military in the statement said it repelled the attack, killing 7 of the attackers, adding that security forces later recovered a locally made weapon, AG-3 rifle, and ammunition from 1 suspect who attempted to flee. The Ghana Armed Forces also disclosed that 10 other suspects have been arrested and are assisting with investigation, and warned the public against interfering with ongoing security operations and expressed condolences to the families of the victims. In another development, the Iranian authorities have said that the United States no longer able to dictate what other countries do, as Washington weighed a new proposal from Tehran on unblocking the Strait of Hormuz. Finally, to the sporting scene. Confederation of African Football (CAF) has awarded Ghana the right to host the 2027 CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. The Ghana Football Association, in a statement on its X-handle, disclosed that CAF communicated the decision in a later address to its General Secretary Prosper Ado. According to Ghana, the decision reflects CAF's strong confidence in the Ghana Football Association's ability to organize and deliver a tournament that meets the highest standard of youth football on the continent. The statement quoted CAF as saying it work closely with the GFA and a soon-to-be established local organizing committee to ensure the successful planning and execution of the tournament. In another development, Manchester United moved within 13 distance of qualifying for the Champions League as Casemiro and Benjamin Sesko sealed a 2-1 win against Brentford on Monday. Michael Carrick's side now need just 2 points from their last 4 matches to ensure their return to Europe's elite club competition for the time since 2023 to 2024. Finally, on the news, the top stories again. The government urges new ambassadors to rebrand Nigeria and attract investments. Independent National Electoral Commission attributes voter education to credible electoral processes. Defense headquarters confirms court-martial of alleged coup plotters to resume May 8. On the international scene, Ghana Armed Forces confirmed 3 civilians killed in military convoy attack. And on sports updates, CAF awards Ghana 2027 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations hosting rights. That's Standard Voice Television Global News for today. On behalf of the production crew led by Elia Adamu Ota, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris, thanking you for investing your time and staying with the news.